Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to some more Soulstone Survivors. I don't know when the last update was, but I just figured I'd play the game again. Let's see, so I want to unlock Wukong, or Monkey King, or whatever this class is called, seeing as he's been added to the game. Which requires, what, level 6 in the Whispering Grove? So I'm just gonna roll Death Knight and we'll see what I can do. Let's see, so I want to try and go here, and clear 6. So Lifeless Void, less healing. Enemies have more health, more enemies. Every time you kill an enemy, a chance of a meteor. I turned this one off because it seemed annoying. Effectively, just something chases you. And that just doesn't sound fun to me. And then also, Corrupted Void Hunters will now collect your Soulstones. That sounds annoying, just because they're going to be yoinking the Soulstones from me, but whatever. Doesn't matter too much. But yeah, if you haven't seen this before, it is honestly a fairly traditional bullet heaven at this point. The main thing it does particularly well is the special effects are a lot of fun to see and play around with. Damn, this guy Spian. Like, that's a massive AoE right from the get-go, and it's a lot of poison stacking, so we're probably going to want to try and make the most of that. Okay, multicast chance, 48%. It's interesting playing this game. I don't remember the last time I covered it. It was sometime last year, but Contagion, more poison, sure. But what was I going to say? Kind of within this, they put out an update that I think annoyed a lot of people, and I'm not exactly sure why, to be honest. I wasn't paying that much attention. Let's see. Cast frequency of Lethal Blade, sure. We definitely do want some magnet upgrades so we don't have to worry about running over these things to pick them up, but currently we don't have to worry too much about anything. None of these enemies are really much of a threat. Ooh, but I do want that multicast bonus. Don't worry, the magnet, it'll get its chance at the very least. Okay, do we want to reroll? I could also just banish all of these. No, let's just reroll. Chromatic Bolt. Bounces between enemies until it's traveled, and it is an everything. Sure. We just want to go for things that share as many types as possible with each other. Oh, now does this character not have a dash? I forgot, they're just, like, considerably faster than anybody else. And that's their shtick. But they don't dash normally. So crit chance wouldn't be bad. I feel like they changed the UI. It feels better, and I don't know why. Let's see. Attacks have a chance to bleed. Common. Nah. I usually just end up cycling whatever the rarest upgrades are, unless it really doesn't make sense. I don't know. Maybe it's tacky. Increase damage modifier of the Ebon Knights. Alright, I forgot this guy can summon Ebon Knights. You know, I don't care too deeply. Let's go for the lethality. Unfortunately, because I play this somewhat infrequently, I don't exactly remember all of the best build options, or even mechanics, or character abilities. Okay, 20% movement speed. Yeah. Since I can't do a dodge roll, the best thing I could possibly do is just be extremely fast. Let's see. Crits cause additional damage. Pestilence. Chain of Pestilence that jumps to nearby targets. Sure. And now we don't have to worry about it giving me any more active skills, potentially. Max health. Everything can burn. I don't have that much max health, so let's snag that. Okay, area of effects. Burst skills. All attacks apply more poison. Or damage of every poison you apply. I think I'm gonna go for just all of my attacks have a chance to poison. Yeah. do I actually want Poison Cloud? Seems okay, but let's just go with passives at this point. Okay, damage of lethal blade, nah. Let's see, crit strikes may also apply poison. How much poison can I stack here is the real question. Because I think I'm just going to make things melt. Legendary, Festering Strike, sure. Yeah, we do have to worry about this guy a little bit, but I can outspeed his beam. Kind of. Let's see. Yeah, let's just keep melting things. Let's see, multicast chance, crit damage, or more max health. All these aren't really that good. Let's go for a reroll. Oh, skip active skills. There we go. Bigger area power? Sure. Poison now causes damage more frequently. And I know there's a way for me to trigger all my attacks apply slow. Slow reduces movement speed. Bleed or just boost cast frequency. Let's just go for the cast frequency at the moment. Let's see. Increases the poison damage I apply. Because yeah, we just want to be able to stack tons of poison, and we want that to do mega damage. I'd like to mess around with some of the other status effects too, because I know you can like... let's see. Increases this, sure. I might also want to look into banishing some things, just because that does do some damage to me, but eh. Okay, so now we're doing some damage to this guy. Damage of Pestilence, all attacks have a chance to apply... Nah, it's fine. Yeah, part of the problem is, I don't actually remember... Okay, harvest souls of fallen enemies. With enough souls, I can do that. I see. I have to go back to summon the Ebon Knights. Probably just go with some pickup radius. Yeah, so if I go back here, I can get my Ebon Knights out. There we go. Not that I've specifically really built around the idea of using them, but hey. I might as well. Snag that. Okay, Venomous Power. All attacks may apply more poison. Let's see, damage of Pestilence? No, we definitely want size. Skill chain. Whenever you cast Nature, chance of casting another one of your current skills with Arcane. It's not huge, but that means we might be able to zip out a bunch of chromatic bolts. I don't actually know which would have been better there. But that's fine. Wow, he died extremely fast. All your attacks have a chance to apply Doom. Sure, we'll stack on another status effect just because. Oh, so rather than having rather than having one specific, or like all three bosses out at once, is it a sequence then? I don't know, they melted really fast though. Okay, all attacks have a chance to apply bleed. Yeah, let's just snag all of those. How many Lords of the Void are they just going to be chucking at me? I have no idea. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I should probably focus on Chromatic Bolt, seeing as I'm going to be doing a decent amount of... oh, where is it? Here? Here. Perfect. Random procs on the Chromatic Bolt. Sorry, brain was elsewhere. I was thinking about destroying these things. Wow. Okay, once that poison really ticks in, it mercs. It feels like status effects feel better to me now. but I can't exactly put my finger on it. There's just a certain point where... Okay, there we go. It's just a certain point where all of a sudden things start melting really hard. Okay, so whenever you cast a nature type, you have a chance to trigger one of my swing moves. I'd love to be able to upgrade those a bunch. Because, yeah, if I could specifically proc my... like, turbo proc my Speen move, that would be extremely fun. Yeah, we're just gonna have a bunch of skill chains, I guess. Let's see. So multicast just contagion or skills, all skills more frequently. Eh. I don't know how much any of these specifically matter. It also feels like it's maybe a little faster. It used to feel like you had to mow through quite a lot of enemies to get the Lords of the Void to show up, but maybe that's something that scales up slowly, and so like by the end of this I'm gonna have to kill a couple thousand units. Maybe. Hard to say. I do really appreciate that you can see enemies' attack patterns as well. Let's see. Go for the Doom. Kind of rough. I guess I'm going to go for lethality, because we need that crit chance. Oh, the Lords of the Void are already up. Where is he, though? Oh, it's the statues. Of course. So the purple statues that have been spawned on the map, those are the bosses. We just have to kill them in sequence. And that's when... you know, that's where they spawn. Yeah, because previously it would be like 3 of them all at once, and that was somewhat of a nightmare. It probably still exists and is a thing. Just maybe not at my current difficulty level. Yeah, he just instantly died, and I'm not quite sure how or why. Let's see, whenever we do nature, we have a chance of triggering an electric. The thing is, like, Chromatic Bolt is just kind of an easy shoo-in for that. It's just like, oh, you did a thing? Do a Chromatic Bolt. You hit an enemy. Do a Chromatic Bolt. Oh, blocked it. Perfect. Let's see. Agility might not be a bad idea. Yeah, I'm going to go for that right now. We want to go a little faster. Because, again, no dash means this is a little trickier. I think it's because the poison stacking after a certain point just starts ticking like crazy. Or it hits that doom threshold and they instantly die. I'm not actually sure. Because I thought Doom was only supposed to insta-kill something if it hits that purple bar, but it feels like it's killing them much earlier. Nope, that's not Alexi. Alright, some more crit chance. Maybe I should have looked into Laceration. Don't know. Oh, Handboy's in a really inconvenient spot for me. I think I'm actually just going to wander off. See if I can lure him out so he's fighting me somewhere else. Might as well take out these kind of pillar things. Not that they're really too much of a worry for me. There he is. It would be interesting to spec a little harder into my Doom Knights. I appreciate that I do seem to have... Ooh. That's a lethal blade. But I'll take it. Okay. Area modifier of all of your nature skills. So all of them. Yeah, my Speen is the freaking map? It's the screen. It is very effective. I do have to remember there's other bosses. Because I think it's a sequence of like 4 or 5. Damn, those AoEs are massive, though. Let's see. Damage of Pestilence. We can reroll. Whenever you bleed, a portion of the damage is caused instantly in addition to the normal effect. That's really good. Okay, more damage. No, these are all bad. Attack supply, more poison. Yeah. It feels like the tooltips have gotten a lot better as well. That it felt... I think I used to be a little bit more uncertain about like how poison procced and triggered and whatnot, and now it's a little bit more obvious. Enough souls. Let's just get my Death Knights back. Let's see. I don't necessarily know where I want to be on this. Probably just here. Break that. I mean, we're doing fabulously. Haven't put that much time into this game. Let's see, crit damage. The thing is, I don't think the crit damage boosts my poison proc damage. So it doesn't seem particularly necessary. Okay, nope. I was gonna be like, and there's no bosses on the field for me to have to worry about, and it's like, no, there is. There's a boss that I have to contend with. Alright, it's Alexi again. That's fine. Does feel like these suckers get a lot of HP here. But that's okay. Let's see. Your crits now apply bleed. Yeah, considering some of the bleed abilities, I'll definitely have to look into going for a bleed build, probably on a different character. Specifically since... Ooh. I'm just gonna banish Leviathan. Let's see, area of effect. Missiles. I mean, I suppose. I don't know if missiles are really... if they benefit too much from area of effect, to be honest. It's also kind of hard to see some of them. I think some are a little bit more overt than others. Okay. Let's just hang out. I'm not actually proccing quite as many poison stacks here as I thought I would, which is interesting. I'm actually going to get rid of a couple of these. My thoughts are, I'm not going to be doing slow. I don't particularly need it. I don't think it's that meaningful. And getting it out of the pool means more room for other more useful stuff. Okay, go for a magnetic. Okay, where's the summoning platform? I guess it doesn't really matter for a moment. That'll probably break. Okay, here it is. It didn't break. That's a weirdly tough tower. Yeah, sometimes I can stack a oodle of poison on things, but compared to the amount of Doom I'm stacking... Oh, is Doom based on all the damage I deal? And not just an attack basis? That might be the case. So it might be one of those where I'm proccing, like, silly amounts of Doom really fast. Maybe? No. Also, it looks like my poison clears. Oh, is that it? Is that it goes until it procs and then it resets. That's why. I don't quite know the differences between the different status effects. Okay. Probably grab this. Just grab that magnet. Everything is fairly comfy. I guess let's go break this statue over here. At some point I will look into looping a bunch of times and getting like crazy rewards, but it feels like the best time to do that is probably once you've maxed out. Like once you've reached maximum difficulty level, if there's a maximum difficulty level. I have to assume that there's kind of an upper limit. Though I know this one has like just an absolutely massive ceiling. I think. I don't know. Again, have never gotten there. All I know is that a number of people on my Discord have played like hours and hours and hours of this compared to me, and let's see, where was it? Oh, there it is. It seems like there's still a lot left to go, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe. We will see. I do hope they add more bosses at some point. Not that it matters too much, but it does feel like it's been the same bosses the same like number of bosses, the same patterns and whatnot. At the very least, I'd love to see like an extra difficulty mode that gives them some extra patterns. So how does burn work? I'll throw it on. Now it just says all your attacks apply doom. Yeah, I'm gonna keep working on Festering Strike, considering I think it's the big spin move that I'm doing. I haven't exactly figured out where Lethal Blade is in this process. What that one looks like. Oh, is that the one where I fling the whirling swords? Oh, gotcha. Okay, multicast chance of chromatic bolt. How does that work with the proc effect of, like, when you cast nature, have a chance to trigger this other ability? Who can play this speed game? It's just unlike you. I actually have the range to do something with it. Still want to go for a summoning build on this. I'll have to look into what's exactly, like, what characters are good at it. Because it feels like a summoning build would be a lot of fun, maybe. But yeah, the bleed effect, being able to apply a certain portion of it instantly, seems like it would be extremely powerful. Being able to effectively double the amount of damage you're doing from bleed. Is it one of those where the boss actually just clears status effects? Because it feels like it's dipping down more and I've been hitting him kind of non-stop. Doom doesn't seem to go away though. Okay, area of effect for those, for frontal. Sure. It might also be one of those difficulty settings that's nerfing status effects. There's probably a lot of different options, reasons for it. And it doesn't matter that much, one way or another. I think the one thing I still wish this game had was some level of, like, overclock and or evolution system. That it does infinite scaling particularly well. But really I'm just scaling up the abilities that I have bigger and bigger and bigger. Unless this is actually something that I just need to unlock. There's so much meta progression that They could actually just be hiding somewhere and I haven't found it yet. That's actually probably exactly the case. Probably just go corrosive. I guess I should have been using my banishes a bit more liberally over the course of this, because yeah, I could have potentially gotten rid of, like, fire. You know, do I need to cast fire? Probably better that I just keep casting poison, or applying poison. Well, I'll think about that for next time. Whenever you nature cast ice. Yeah, does this game have, like, DPS meters? Skill breakdown. Okay, here we go. So what is the most DPS? Contagion, actually. Huh. Even though it's hit the least amount of time, it does the most amount of damage. Explosion of Rot, causing all stacks and... Oh. Contagion's the reason why my poison is going away, but it's also the reason why Contagion does so much damage. Keeping that in mind. This is what I get for not reading my skills and what they do. So that's why enemies just randomly had a chance to explode. It literally was because of Contagion. I'm sure somebody who plays this actively is probably facepalming, or was facepalming, but like, I play so many games, man. Like, it is so easy to lose track of minute details, and it gets frustrating having to reread things every single time, so I kind of make do entirely with just gut checks and muscle memory rather than like an implicit understanding or mastery of a game. I get by fine. It's one of those where, like, would it be nice to be more in tune? Yeah, absolutely. But on the flip side, I get by fine. I don't know, every once in a while I just see YouTubers who are still like hyper focused, specialized into one game, and that's just their thing. And I always kind of feel weird about the idea of that, because it's like, it would be neat to be that capable. Oh, it looks like we're done. Oh, now we got Wukong. Didn't get him up to level 100. I actually remember what happens when we get there. Okay, so damage, area, unique skills, nothing. Electric, Holy, Earth, Slam, Bomb. Well, I got the Monkey King. Okay, we also have some Chivos. Let's see. If I go to skill tree, where's my Death Knight in this process? This looks like him. So what we're looking for is all of the abilities that apply to my other characters. Yeah, apply to all of your characters. How do I determine this? Because I want to get as much of those as I possibly can. Unless it's something that pops up for maxing it out, no. Because that might have been it. Yeah, critical damage. All critical damage against enemies. Heaven Knights. Movement speed. Yeah, I could reset them, but I don't know if we benefit from that too much. So yeah, I guess we just put whatever points in. max this guy out. Doesn't look like there's anything I can do with this yet, but that's okay. Let's see, where do we unlock these runes? Okay, just play the game. Well, let's Monkey King, though I guess I should probably take a look at skills. Start with a special weapon skill, sure. Crit chance added to crit damage multiplier when calculating crit damage, including bonus crit chance from negative points. That should be fine. Let's see. Extra damage per different type of negative effect on enemies. That's okay. Let's go with Focus Fire, a little bit more damage. Can I grab both of these? Yeah. So, longer dash and take less damage. Oh, let's fight. Now, I don't actually think this guy is going to be able to survive. So let's just go here 4. Oh, yeah. Increased quantity of Lords of the Void that will be active simultaneously. That should be fine. I'm not entirely sure how well, you know, Wukong is gonna do. Wow, for reducing my AoE, this is still monstrously large. Okay, so I'm already applying some kind of status effect. Is it Frost? Hard to say. Okay, let's take a look. Applying Shattered and gain Prowess. Shattered reduces armor power by 1 for 8 seconds. Prowess damage modifier by 6%. I guess I'm just going to go for Magnetic for the time being. I'd like to go for higher rarity. But whatever. Yeah, so it looks like we're kind of going for Slam Frontal Physical. I think for now I'm just probably going to build this guy around the idea of just big smack. Maybe actually push crit a little bit. Let's see. Area modifier, sure. Okay, Resonant Slam is 2 types. Big Smack. Okay, cast skills more often. But we're getting a lot of those, like, universal upgrades, which are kind of nice. Okay, cast frequency of Massive Slam, sure. Yeah, we definitely want to focus on the first 2. Okay, Seismic Shock. Let's see. Gain Prowess and Resilience. Yeah, so it looks like I'm going to be able to just hyper stack buffs on myself. I'll take a bit of armor too. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make exactly, but still. Right, I should banish Leviathan the next time it shows up. Yeah, there's Bomb Barrage. I think it's frontal and physical. Yeah, so that's an option. Bomb Barrage it is. Okay, bigger, Seismic Shock. Don't think I care. I'll go for a bit of lethality. Okay, and we have 2 bosses to contend with. But they're not that tough. Yeah, I'm not wicked quick. Which does present a bit of a issue. The Death Knight could kind of just smoothly waltz through things. Here I actually have to care about running away. Gain purity. Oh. So it gives... Purity, the main reason is, whenever you cast a skill, consume 20 stacks of purity, release a wave of light, damages nearby enemies. It hits more than 4 enemies, also heals you. That is actually kind of good. Traits piercing. I think I'm just gonna give up. Okay, and we're gonna banish Leviathan. Reroll again. I burn most of my rerolls, why don't I? Ooh, more dashes. Actually huge. Okay, damage right now is feeling very good. Let's see, multicast of all slams. Or, I think I'm actually going to go for the agility, just because. Every time you apply resilience, have a chance of gaining form. That's actually extremely helpful. 2 of my abilities give me resilience. Every time you apply resilience, you have a chance to apply... Yeah... I dig this. Let's see, cause more damage overall. Yeah. Yeah, so we get to buff stack here. These were not in the game previously, and I'm actually really digging their existence. It feels better. Okay, cast more frequently. Cause more damage. Pretty bad, frankly. Guess that's my last reroll, but whatever. All your attacks now apply bleed. I don't think I'm going to specifically favor Bomb Barrage. Not that it's strictly bad, it's just not my... It's not like a focus here. Okay, so now what do we do? I don't know. I run in circles. So we're not getting as much of that crit chance boost buff as I was hoping I would get. Hopefully we can increase that even higher. Okay, damage increase of all frontal skills, absolutely. Yes, I don't exactly know where I'm stacking up in terms of status effects here. It feels like it's a fair bit. Let's see. Go for lethality. Go for magnet range. Let's see. Every time you apply resilience... Oh, it's only... Wait, form crit chance. Interesting. Armor improved. Cast frequency of massive slam. Yeah, we're proccing form a little bit more often here. Reduces the damage of bleeds. Yeah. I don't necessarily know if I want to like lean too hard into bleed. But it seems like it's very easy for me to stack it. Okay, magnet, probably agility. More dashes. Look, I might as well quintuple dash. Especially because they charge independently of each other. So that means if I dash 5 times, we're still good? Because some games will do it in sequence, and that's annoying. Really wants me to use my bomb, alright? Considering none of those other options are good, why not? Yeah, my dodge recharge chance is absurd. Like, couple more dashes and we just can dash infinitely. Let's see. Alright, we only have to kill 15 Lords of the Void. So, whenever we do a slam, we have a chance to bomb. Okay, fine, I'll take it. Because I have a hell of a lot of slam. And yeah, I'm just going to keep hyper boosting massive slam. Just really get everybody with the ugly stick. Not that I desperately need the pickup radius at the moments. Enemies, bosses give me magnets. So it's not like it's extremely necessary, or even maybe useful. To get that pickup radius. But if I don't have anything else, then I'll take it. Nah, let's go for more bleed. Now, is that blocked? No, it is not. Okay, that's all of my skills. Is she not dead yet? I guess not. Area modifier, bomb barrage. Yeah, at some point I'll go for like a big bomb build, because I feel like that could be fun. Wait, did I already fight a Gammoth on this one? Did it give me the double Gammoth? I think it did. Weird. All but more movement speed. I gotta go west. Huh. He gave 2 Soulstones for some reason. I have to wonder how many of these character models are original at this point. Soulstone Survivors uses a common asset pack called Synty that you've probably seen like a gazillion times at this point. Across like a large multitude of games. Or at least they used to. I think they still do. The character models definitely look Synty, at the very least. But I don't remember half of these models being present. I'm gonna just banish Magnetic at this point. We don't need any more. But it's one of those that I'm specifically... I generally dislike when I run across a game that uses the Synty art pack, because it's kind of a hallmark of... I don't want to say laziness, per se. But it's one of those where it's like, oh, I don't have an artist. Let's just use Synty low poly 3D models and just call it good enough. I think the big issue is that many games that use this art pack don't do a very good job of... they don't do a very good job of implementing it well. It usually ends up looking just a little ugly. Largely because, you know, maybe the world doesn't match, or the UI is bad, or, you know, any number of random reasons. Let's just increase the amount of damage we do with bleed. Not that I'm, like, jonesing too hard to use bleed here, but... I bet I can get that to actually do a whole mess of damage. Okay, let's just not get close to that beam for the time being. And Spoon Boy is getting closer. There we go. Let's see. More bleed. And so Soulstone Survivors, I think, is one of the only games that I've seen that uses the Cinti art pack with, like, good UI and, like, general art direction and blending it all together. Like, the environments look nice, the UI looks nice, the choice of, like, ability icons looks nice. That's, you know, well, much of this, I'm pretty sure, was pulled from asset packs. It doesn't matter because it blends so well. Have you ever played, like, I think this was especially bad kind of back in the day, like, early 2000s, or, like, especially games kind of in the PS3 era, where developers would use a lot of, like, store-bought assets for trees or shrubs or environmental things, and then wouldn't do a very good job of blending them in or making them look nice. Easiest example I guess I'm going to give is, like, I love the Tales of series, but it has felt like, up until the most recent one, Tales of Arise, like, between Tales of... was it the Abyss? No. It was whatever the 360 Vesperia, I think it was. Or really, once, like, Zestiria and Bersaria came out, I'm sure those were great games, but they used these, like, really generic, empty, flat environments. Like, oh, I'm out standing in a field, and it's just, like, repeated green grass texture and, like, cheap store-bought trees. And it was just kind of painful to look at. I think I'm going to keep going for Armored Assault, just because. But let's see. Unbreakable damage reduction. Sure. I don't actually know if that's, like, really going to make a difference, but it probably will. But I remember getting to just a certain point where I was running around in Zestiria, I think. Sorry, the Tales of games have started to bleed together in my head a little bit. But it was like fighting near a bridge, kind of out in a field, and, like, I think it was like fighting the Earth Spirit God Demon something or other, question mark. I think he had a hat. I really don't remember, but I was just, like, watching this cutscene and, like, big important things are happening, but I'm just distracted by how utterly ugly the environment was. And, like, I found it agonizing to deal with. To be party 2. Complete a match in less than 12 minutes with Monkey King. Hell yeah. I've leveled up. What can you use that for? Ooh, we could keep going if we wanted to. Let's do this. I don't know what this is. Kind of an arena fight. I haven't exactly done this before, but I figure why not? This build's going quite well. So we might as well just go nuts with whatever this room is and at least see something new for me. But yeah, so it's like I didn't hate Zestiria, and I've never played Bersaria, and I'd like to someday. But just the genericness of those bot asset trees and whatnot really held the game back, in my opinion. I feel the same way about some amount of bot asset pack games. I think it's really just, like, how do you implement them? Like, if the whole game... These are pretty boring. If the entirety of, like, Zestiria had been kind of this, like, low-poly, chunky, 90s-looking environments, I think it would have been... I don't think it would have bothered me much, because, you know, the expectation is there that that's what it's going to look like. You know, this is a 90s game. This is what 90s games looked like. It's much harder when half the assets look really nice and modern and cool, and half the assets look like they came out of a can. I guess I'll pick it up. I have no other choice. Yeah, this is why I wanted to have that healing beam. Because I don't think I have a means of healing here. At least I haven't seen any crystals go by. We could turn off the... Oh. I'm wrong. There are healing crystals here. They're just rare. Well, works out for me. Let's see. But yeah, a lot of games that use, like, Cinti, for example, they very much miss the mark. They don't know how to blend things together well. So, like, it might have these, like, really nice-looking models, sort of, but then the UI looks like, you know, something from Geosites or Neosites or, you know, the old, like, early 2000s, late 90s website design of just, like, nobody knows how to do graphic design well, but also nobody really cares because there's nobody else in this space. Like, there's no survival pressure of, you know, I have to actually make a nice-looking website to succeed here. And eventually, like, that very much did dip off after a while. If it, like, yeah, if you have a really exceptionally ugly website nowadays, I mean, I guess just maybe plenty of people still do. But generally, most of the popular websites have actually good design, sort of. At least until, you know, whatever executive hires their cousin or thinks that they are just as good of a graphic designer, at which point everything starts looking extremely ugly, or, you know, maybe you replace your beloved branding image with, you know, a letter, and, you know, it's just like white on a black background or black on a white background and that's it, and there's nothing more to it. There's so many websites that have done that recently, and it's just kind of awful. I used to like, I thought the original, like, Patreon logos were good, and now it's just kind of this, like, weird P-shaped bean thing going on. And, like, it's fine. It gets the job done, but I miss the old, like, orange circular P sign looking thing. It just had some charm, and, like, the more websites kind of streamline their aesthetics, the more just painfully generic they end up looking for me. Especially because it's clear once again that it probably wasn't it wasn't under the direction of, like, an actual skilled art director or designer, but because somebody in middle management was like, hey, you know what's modern? Ugliness. Let's do it. Brutalism is in. And has been in for the last 100 years. My house looks like a prison, and that's the only way I feel alive. Sorry, I was looking at Mark Zuckerberg yesterday and just, like, freaked out just a little bit. It's not like it's not like I go out of my way. Ooh, 100% chance to crit enemies with full health. Sure. It's not like I spend too much time looking at Mark Zuckerberg exactly, but the dude's been in headlines a lot recently, and you know, one of the pictures was like a close-up of the guy, and I think I'm 10 years younger than him, and I have more wrinkles than he does. How old is Mark Zuckerberg? Mark Zuckerberg is... Oh. Yeah, he's 6 years older than me. So actually, he's not that much older, but, like, the guy's face looks like it's made out of plastic, but not in a way that like, somebody that's undergone a lot of beauty treatments does. His face looks like plastic in the way of, like, this person has literally never smiled. In a way that wasn't, like, a calculated action. Whereas, like, I'm already getting forehead wrinkles because I raise my eyebrows a lot. Because that's just who and what I am. And it's just an automatic reaction to emotional stimuli. Or just I'm talking. Either or. I didn't actually need to go for that. I haven't taken any damage here. I'm also wrecking things. Damn. And, like... that man just looks plastic and creepy and very empty. And it's like a small comfort considering, you know, how much damage he's done to the world in general. I know I'm, like, on a long tangent, but it's people like that that very much just like to roll in and wreck things. think they, know better than actual experts, and then destroy whatever is good about a website. This is something that's been on my mind for ages, and I'm just like stuck in a rant tangent for a moment. But I feel this way of like a lot of games that could have been good, and somewhere along the way an executive rolls in and is just like, hey, I know better than you. I'm going to destroy this beloved thing. Sort of, I don't know. Recently I was watching Shell play Alone in the Dark. The modern one, the one from last year. It wasn't strictly a bad game. I think she enjoyed it. But the one thing I was kind of perpetually bothered by with it was they had hired, prowess gain resilience, yes. One thing I was bothered by watching it was they had hired 2 famous actors to be the protagonists, and they were completely wasted. I think I have this problem with a lot of media. Like, it's one thing if you can use it well. I'm thinking like, what's a game that's actually used its famous actor reasonably well? Oh, not exactly in the same way, but having Kratos be voiced by the actor for Teal'c, it works. I think it was a good pick, and they managed to play up the actor's kind of stoic strengths quite well. What was that? Oh yeah. And then just any time Tim Curry was a character in a video game was amazing. Like, I did not like Red Alert 3 that much. I thought it was an okay game. I think going back to it, I'd probably enjoy it more now. But, like, I liked how Red Alert 2 mostly took itself seriously, whereas Red Alert 3 was a goof, but maybe not intentionally. It just ended up feeling much campier and less charming. But having Tim Curry as one of the Russian like leaders, and him being the guy that gives you all the briefings and like is kind of telling you what to do, was extremely charming. And the amount of just like one-liners from that, especially the only place untouched by capitalism, spice, that one. Having him in that was like an absolute joy, because it leaned into Tim Curry as a person and as an actor. And so, like, watching Alone in the Dark, I was like, why did they blow all of this money on these 2 famous actors? They could have just gotten random people and it would have been almost the same experience. Maybe. At the very least, the studio probably wouldn't have been in as dire of financial straits. Ooh. Okay, so more bleed. Bleed causes damage more frequently. Let's go for the bleed causes damage more frequently. That's a hell of a lot of bleed stacks, damn. Are we done? Looks like we're done. Can I do another one? Sure. Do until I die or something. But that very much the choice to include Tim Curry as a, or not Tim Curry, David Harbour, in that game probably wasn't a choice made by any of the like lower end people. That was very much a like, either the publisher wanted it to happen or one of the executives is like, what's going to sell our game? Star power. And they just get the biggest possible star they can. There's nothing strictly wrong with having a famous actor involved, but oftentimes it usually ends up just feeling weird. That maybe this is kind of a me thing. I think Hollywood's kind of fallen into this recently, and I guess it always kind of had. But it's felt worse lately, where, here's this B movie, we're gonna hire a big famous actor to just do their usual shtick. And hopefully they'll lend enough star power to actually sell the movie. And sometimes that kind of works. It feels like any of the movies with Ryan Reynolds or The Rock recently have kind of leaned into that, where it's just like just popcorny enough that you want it. Like you want to watch it, but not good enough that you'd ever want to watch it again. Well, maybe, I don't know, I've become a little bit bored of both of their performances. Like, I tried watching the recent Deadpool, and I was just kind of like, yep, this was a thing. I don't know if I want to get too deep into the plot on that, but it felt very much like the villains were just included because somebody needed to hit a quota or to tie things together in a tidy fashion. But the movie itself didn't really say or do too much in the greater scheme of the world. Or even itself. It was movies that cannot exist without 30 other movies to back them up, and that actually feels really weird at this point. I don't think I've seen movie franchises last this long. I'm sorry, I'm not going to stick to a single topic here. We're just on a long route, and where this takes me is where we're going, question mark. Damn, I am just shredding things here. This is actually very satisfying. But yeah, what do we want to talk about? Executives like sticking their fingers into things and ruining things? Hey, let's delve into the tangent for movie franchises lasting forever, and then pull it back if I can. I'm really baffled by how current like Marvel works, because it's almost like watching one of those like really massive TV series. I'm thinking like, okay, so I've been watching like Angel and Buffy lately because I've never seen them before, and because I want to run Monster of the Week, which is, you know, very much a supernatural mystery investigation / fight the monster kind of tabletop RPG. It's a lot of fun, and I want to put some more time into it. And I want to be like good at running those, so I figure, well, Buffy is very much like one of the primary inspirations, and then after Buffy, I'll probably move on to X-Files or something. But there's what, 7 seasons of Buffy plus 7 seasons of Buffy plus 5 seasons of Angel plus books and graphic novels that continue the story after that fact. And it's one of those where like you can't just dive in on any of those. You have to watch multiple other series to really get what's going on. You know, just a random episode will have Angel run in and save the day for no clear reason. It's like, oh, it's because it's a sort of tie-in to go along with this other thing that was going on. But also because we just want to, like, co-promote both of these franchises. So, I guess not exactly Marvel, though Marvel as well. I mean, it's all Disney. Watching, the Book of Fett, you know, midway through, it just switches to another episode of The Mandalorian, to tie him back into the Book of Fett, and also to, well, I mean, yeah, really just tie him back into the Book of Fett so people are more likely to watch it, because now if you go back and watch more Mandalorian, you're going to be confused because there's like an episode or two of The Mandalorian in the middle of the Book of Fett, and oops, you missed it, what's going on? And so the problem with that is that you effectively have to do homework to enjoy these things. And I feel that especially with Marvel movies. Like, at least with the Star Wars stuff, you can just kind of take them as like one-offs, mostly. You know, Andor, for example, you clearly want the context of, like, what's going on and why and how, and, you know, that does tie into Rogue One, from what I remember. But it at least was a somewhat charming and, like, original story that could be viewed as, like, an independent product. But, you know, most Marvel movies now, you have to watch all of the Marvel movies to really get what's going on, or at least, like, a significant portion of them. Otherwise, like, random character details or people or events are confusing. And I'm baffled by the bulk of it all, and very much not watching Marvel movies anymore. And actually, I mean, I guess except for Deadpool and Wolverine, I don't think I've touched a Marvel movie in almost a year now. And they weren't good. Even prior to that. But so go back to the whole kind of executive control thing. Wow, we are getting just oodles of prestige on this. Hey, if this maxes out my Monkey King, then hell yeah, why not, right? I actually really like this arena mode. It's so much faster. Oh, because you also only have to kill so many enemies to summon the lords. That's extremely useful. I'm disappointed I haven't seen that that thing of whenever you apply bleed, it just instantly apply a portion of it. I was really hoping that that would show up, but maybe that's a perk. Like, the conditions to trigger some of these are much harder than I thought they would be. Let's just go for damage. I haven't needed survivability yet, and it feels like the best thing for me to do at this point is just glass cannon until I instantly die. Damn, that's a hell of a lot of bleed stacks. What is going on? Like, just after a certain point, they start chunking down. I must have, like, wiped their armor out, or those bleed procs were just obscene. Could be either. Hard to tell. That damage increase would be nice, but it does feel like going hard bleed might be the trick. Can I check? Bloodshed. DPS 1.2 million. Spinning Staff is also 1.1 million. So actually, Spinning Staff does almost as much damage. Okay. But what are some other good examples of this, like, weird executive control that just kind of rolls in? I don't know. I think I've had a beef about this ever since Kurt Schilling. Which might seem like a non sequitur, but how many of you have played Kingdoms of Amalur, or at least know what that game is? It was a kind of an alt BioWare-y game where they were trying to make an MMO, but didn't quite have the budget for it, so they took a lot of their work, made a fairly good, like, open world action adventure RPG in a way that was, like, reminiscent of a BioWare game or a Bethesda game, but, like, not quite. I guess a single player MMO. They made a single player MMO that was actually halfway decent. Let's see. Increase the damage of every bleed. Yeah, let's just go for that. Ideally, I'd like to make it so it procs faster, too. But that hasn't been showing up. But I really liked Amalur. I actually thought it was, like, one of the better games I've ever played, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Amusingly enough, I think it was, like, one of the first games I ever finished on this channel, and it was, like, 100 episodes at the time. Admittedly, this is back when my episodes were, like, 10 to 30 minutes long, as opposed to longer than that. I'm not actually sure how I beat it that quickly. Maybe I did some stuff off camera, it's hard to tell. But, you know, Amalur came out, and it was decent, but I don't think it sold particularly well. And they just kept going, and we're working on, like, a new MMO, called Project Copernicus. And then somewhere in the process, he stopped, like, the studio stopped paying people, because I think it was two. It was, like, two studios working simultaneously together. And the workers stopped getting paid, and then communication started slowing down, and then at one point, more or less, we're just all told, yep, you're being laid off, and that was it. And State of Rhode Island more or less just repossessed the studio because they had bankrolled it initially. And the problem with it is that, like, this is one of those classic examples of somebody that has no business being in game design being put in charge of game design. And then making a bunch of really boneheaded decisions financially and also from, like, a directorial perspective to just constantly waste any opportunities they were actually given. And, like, apparently the guy was extremely unreliable and would, like, pop in and out with new ideas and try and say like, no, we're doing this now, or add this thing and stuff like that. Let's go for a little bit of damage resistance just to cut the chip down a little bit more. I think that was one of the first times I'd really heard about, like, upper management being complete bonehead morons. And it's kind of stuck with me because now I hear about it all the time and I'm just, like, consistently baffled by some decisions. Let's see. Activate your skills multiple times. Hell yeah. Not exactly in the same vein, but recently a new Doom game has been announced called... I don't remember the name of it. I like Doom. I like the modern Dooms. I thought Doom Eternal was a little weak at times. Like, Doom 2016 was pristine. Eternal tried to be more, and I don't think it quite hit, but it was good enough that I enjoyed the experience. And they've got a new one coming out that, yeah, I'm still casually excited for, just because the modern Dooms have been quite good. But I think the base game's like $70, $80, and then throw in like a $30 DLC and stuff. And I'm starting to reach the point where I'm seeing games launching at those price levels, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know about that. You know, could I? Can we do another? We can do another. You know, do I actually care about this game deeply enough that I would want this thing? You know, or can I wait 4 or 5 years until it's $20? And I've been thinking about this specific idea ever since the second Mario Rabbids game, which I didn't like as much. I think it had some good ideas behind it, but making the Rabbids speak was extremely unsettling to the point where I was not really okay with playing the game. That it was like giving me odd uncanny valley in a way that, like, I could put up with the characters being these, like, dumb little meme blobs that didn't really do too much. You know, they were there for comic relief, but they weren't saying or doing anything. But then to have them actually start saying words was, like, too much for me. And I just couldn't comfortably play the game. But they launched it for, like, $60. Yeah, I mean, it's a fair price. It's it's a big old AAA game. Those launch at $50, $60. That's normal. And then within, like, a couple of months, I think it was down to, like, 20 or even 10. Like, I see the game on sale often, and I'm always a little baffled by it. Not necessarily because it's, like, you know, no, I don't know. It was a good game. Like, it was good enough for people to enjoy it, and at some point I'll go back and play it. But just watching that price just constantly drop is just like, I am, you know, I got it at launch, and admittedly, because Ubisoft sent it to me at the time. But had I bought it at launch, I think I would have actually felt a little jilted by the, you know, the massive drop in price. And it would have trained me very much to say, yeah, I can wait for this. Especially because I was looking at my backlog yesterday. I was just thinking about, you know, all of the games that I've never finished, that I do want to finish, somewhere along the way. And, I've been trying to keep a very active list of all the games in my Steam library that I want to finish. Go Laceration. And it's currently 243 games. Now, I have a lot more games than that, and I have a lot more games that I'd like to finish, but it's 243 games that are like, I want to finish this before I'm too old or tired or dead to play them, or something like that. Maybe a little bit macabre, but still very much like these are games that I absolutely want to play. And 243 games is like a lot. Especially if, you know, they're averaging out somewhere around just 20 hours to beat. And so, whenever I'm now being confronted with the whole idea of like, well, you could buy this. Ooh, whenever you apply bleed, you also apply poison. It's... Sure. That's a shit ton of poison stacks. The damage isn't nearly as good, though. I should probably have actually banished that in retrospect. Let's start banishing some things. I appreciate how quick and streamlined this has been so far. It's a hell of a lot of enemies, though. Okay. There's the bosses up. Because, yeah, we don't have to kill, like, 400 enemies. We just have to kill, like, 30 to get the bosses to show up. So we can cycle a lot of things very quickly here. Which is nice. And I recognize that, like, at id / Bethesda / Microsoft, you know, whoever's making the decisions on Doom, of course, charging $70 is like the way to go. That's the new modern price of AAA games, but it does feel like it's almost kind of backing a number of these franchises into a corner. That, you know, at least in the US, spending power is going down. You know, people are making less money compared to the value of money than they used to by like a significant portion. And so it's one of those where like a lot of extra things are starting to become too pricey for people. So like, what was I thinking about? I was thinking about like going to Disney, for example. I think people still do go to Disney, but after a certain point, you know, frivolous things like video games or vacations to big theme parks or stuff like that, they're going to become maybe too expensive. But it feels like video games are almost going to be one of those ones that gets hit the hardest first. And I think for Microsoft, the trick is they just want to get a bunch of people. I'm probably going to start getting cooked here. That's fine. Microsoft probably just wants people to get onto Game Pass because, oh, you know, just become a Game Pass subscriber and you get access to the new Doom for like $15-20 a month. You know, that's much cheaper than the, let's see, do we want to do, oh yeah, it's a big damage increase on Spinning Staff. I might just max out Monkey King here. That's awesome. Good lord. It's not as obvious in a vacuum, but I attack wicked fast. Oh, going through the portal healed me to full. That's really nice, actually. And so, you know, I think Microsoft will probably be fine because they have that baseline subscriber count to kind of keep them afloat. But to go back to Ubisoft, it does kind of feel like they might not. They might not be fine. And I'm not the most comfortable with seeing where some of these are going, because it's just like, once some of these big institutions start really falling apart, it does actually do a lot of damage to the rest of the industry. You know, even indies, at least kind of on the midline, were reliant on bigger publishers giving them like grants and some extra money to be able to make their like weirdo indie games. When I say weirdo, I mean like, or I mean it in the most endearing way possible, but just, you know, so many of these like strange little games that would never normally be made. You know, maybe this, well, I'm sure this was probably self-funded, but there's quite a lot of games that did actually rely on a little bit of funding beforehand. I'm thinking about, like, Supergiant, actually. The Bastion was funded by Warner Brothers, oddly enough, back kind of in the early days. Let's see, armor power for resilience, sure. And that, like, maybe Supergiant would have become a thing anyway without Warner Brothers, but I'm not sure. Same thing with, like, I think it was Rain World was at least initially published by Adult Swim Games. I think now it's Akapara has picked them up because Adult Swim went down. Now we want to go for the slam damage boost. But it is one of those where like these larger companies really did actually make some of these games possible. Because Rain World was one of those that took like forever to develop. I remember because I met the dev like in person and played Rain World like 3 years before the game officially launched. And so, I guess kind of within that, you know, maybe the dev would have been able to kind of eke by or make the game on his spare time while working another job or something like that, but I don't know. There's so many games that exist in that space that really did require that extra external funding, and not having that is going to mean we get less Rain Worlds. And I think that frustrates me because I really like Rain World. I think that's a absolutely fantastic game. You know, who knows, maybe mega hits like the III initiative slash, ooh, whenever you apply bleed, there it is. Chance of it, or a portion of it is instantly applied. There we go. Okay. I think this is going to be my last one. If I live, awesome. If I don't, so be it. Okay, let's banish some things. I'm going to get rid of Venomous. Can I check skill breakdown? What is seismic shock? DPS is pretty bad. What about the bombs? Bomb barrage is actually doing quite well, so skill chain is quite good. We want to just curate our available upgrades a little, so that we're getting upgrades for the ones that are actually doing the most amount of damage. And yeah, because we're triggering Bomb Barrage really quickly. I guess I'll put some points into Bomb Barrage now that it's starting to rival my Speen. I am just barfing bombs. That's fun. Like, I'm still fully expecting the games industry will be fine. It's just gonna always be different from what it used to be and not always for the better. Like, on the plus side, with AAA being kind of in a rough state, we're getting more games like Balatro getting tons of attention. I know a lot of people were mad about Balatro being like, no way this is Game of the Year. It doesn't have nearly enough graphics or CG titums. Just dumb nonsense like that. But, like, it's a legitimately really good game, and, I don't know. It's kind of neat to see games that are just, like, good games getting the recognition for it. Though there are quite a lot of really good games that never get the recognition. I was thinking about this recently in terms of, how would I describe it? There's an effect, there are layers to the games industry, specifically games industry visibility, that, I don't know if I'd want to call it like a series of plateaus exactly, but Soulstone Survivors is a reasonably popular bullet heaven. I'd probably argue it's one of the most popular. Let me see how many reviews it has on Steam. 20,000. That's actually, like, I would say officially mega popular. On Steam and just in general. I'm just gonna ban that. But, you know, there's oodles of bullet heavens with a fraction of that. You know, I played Crafty Survivors recently, which has 500, roughly 500 reviews on Steam, compared to the 20,000. What is that fraction out to being? Is that a 2%? 2.5%? Something like that? I don't know. I don't want to do the math here. No, it would be 4%? Again, don't want to do the math here. And so, most people that play this game, you know, unless they're actively subscribed to me, likely will never hear about, crafty survivors. You know, it's just not going to break into their sphere of awareness, because for them, a game has to be above like a certain level of like visibility and popularity for it to even matter, for it to even count as a game or something to that extent. Obviously, maybe I'm being a little bit dismissive with some of these things, but it really does feel like there is this odd layering effect where, yeah, portions of the games industry are just locked off to people. I was seeing a somewhat skewed statistic saying that like indie games maybe only account for a couple percentage points of the entire industry, save for like the breakout hits, you know, the Vampire Survivors, the Balatros and whatnot, and that so much of the money is being money and attention is being focused on live service games or mobile games or big AAA games, and then the actual like indie side of the industry is much smaller, even though that it is all consuming from my perspective. And I think that is both interesting and also kind of bleak, because like this is where the coolest games are generally being made. Like, I like the idea of a new Doom, and I will play it and I will enjoy it, but I will probably get that same experience and enjoyment out of Sulaco or oh, what's the other one? There's another one that I'm actually very much looking forward to, but I don't remember the name of. Or, not looking forward to, that I enjoyed. It's the one where you start on a mining colony that's being overrun by kind of like weird undead, and then the AIs have potentially gone rampant as well. I thought that one was extremely cool. Wow, nice legendary multicast. Just in time for me to end the run. We got a hell of a lot of stuff out of that one. Look at him go. Yeah, so we didn't quite get up to 100, but we didn't need to. Ice progression with current curse intensity. Whoa, that's nice. Okay, so we get some achievements. Damn. Yeah, we got some stuff done. I like it. So that means we got a new rune. Extra damage for each different type your current active skills have. Oh, that's kind of fun. Increases damage you cause per missing health point up to 30%. That's okay. Chance of long chains of multicasting to happen. Ah, that is good. Let's see, it doesn't look like we have anything else, and let's take a look at the skill tree. Where is Sun Wukong? There you go. May now follow the way between black and white, day and night, finding balance, collecting orbs of energy. Ah. So I was playing with a bit of a limited deck there. How do I... Okay, there we go. Just had to put some more points in. I was confused. Okay, so it is much more obvious which ones of these apply to all characters. Because yeah, we're looking for the applies to all characters upgrades, if we can find them. Let's see, a little bit of movement speed. Let's see, damage. Okay, do we have any more? Yes, we have a little bit. Because yeah, I want to have as many of these universal upgrades as I possibly can. Ooh, health regen by 0.5. That's really good, actually. I'll just put some points into that. Probably call it good enough. Oh, there's also this rune. 2 less skill slots, but all the damage it causes increased by 70%. Huh. That is actually really good. The time you cast a skill, you have a chance of gaining prowess. That's also quite good. Especially for a prowess stacking build. It looks like we have access to all 3 different types of weapons. So this seems to be gain colossal, area modifier, and resilience. So this is the bomb build. And bleed build. And then this is the electrified. So this one I cannot make. We need more tin and platinum. I could actually make this one if I want to. Maybe. I mean, I think I can afford all of them. We might just have to go farm for resources elsewhere, but that's fine. We will do that later. For now, at least, I guess if you want to pick up Soulstone Survivors yourselves, it's available on Steam right now. It's been out for a while. It is, like I said, one of the better bullet heavens ever made. I do find it, the build crafting to be a little bit static. Infinite scaling, oh, it's 30% off right now. Don't know why, but hey, why not? Good timing. Oh, it's probably the lunar sale going on Steam right now. But yeah, I really wish the game had some degree of overclock abilities, evolutions, or something. Like, it does the stat scaling incredibly well, but I'd love to see certain abilities, you know, every 5 levels or something, you get some crazy perk. Like, oh, the staff, instead of doing just like a slam down, it does a sweep, or maybe it shoots forward, or maybe it's even bigger, or it has infinite range, you just have to scale it up, or who knows what. Just having some things like that I think would be really cool. But I also recognize that, like, hey, the game's in a fine enough state, it doesn't really need this stuff. I think it would just be a little bit more interesting for me. Anywho, I guess with all of that said, if you like this video in any way, shape, or form, leave me a like, it helps more than you know. And if you want to see more rad new games every single day, then hit subscribe, because I got tons to check out and show off. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.